Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Is possessing knowledge a prerequisite for inviting others to the path of Allah? Excellent question. And it's something that I'm actually very passionate about, because we find that in the field of da'wah, calling to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, people have this preconceived notion that da'wah is either going to be comparative religion, where I need to know about other faiths and their books and be able to point out the inaccuracies or the mistakes or the contradictions therein, and to be able to defend all the misconceptions about Islam and to be able to answer, all the questions about Islam. People think that that's da'wah. Excuse me. Another type of perception of da'wah is that da'wah means a very formalized venture, like Jama'atul Tabligh, for example. That is, it has to be done in this way. That's a form of, tadhkir and da'wah, and it's good, mashallah. But that's not the only form. So people have a perception that, if I'm going to get into da'wah, it means I'm going to get into a specific form. That's not necessarily the case. And then the third misconception about da'wah is, of the many misconceptions, is that number one, I need to first have all the knowledge of Islam, and I need to be practicing on all that knowledge before I can call others towards Islam. All of this is false, right? Comparative religion has its place and it has its benefit, but it's a specialized field that only, that we only require some people to do. And pointing out the mistakes in the religion of others isn't calling them to Islam. Those are two different things. It's perhaps a way of calling people to Islam, but it's not, the calling proper. Calling proper would be to go to somebody and say, my dear brother, my dear sister, I would like to inform you about Islam. Islam is about La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Islam believes, Muslims believe that there's no one worthy of worship besides only one God. And we believe in all of the prophets and messengers. And I invite you to this belief as well. And you may not say it in such a simple way, but that in essence is calling to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then in terms of knowledge that is required to do that, yes, you need knowledge to do that. But what knowledge? You need the knowledge of what you are calling to. So if you know that La ilaha illallah and you know Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, then you have knowledge enough to call somebody to La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And this is exactly what the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum did when they had an opportunity to embrace Islam. Once they've entered into the fold, some of them immediately went out and called others towards Islam as well. Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu is an excellent example of that. He embraced Islam at the hands of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and immediately other people embraced Islam at his hands. He didn't know, there wasn't much to know at the time because the revelation had just begun, yet he called people towards Islam, which completely dispels these misnomers, these myths about da'wah ila Allah. So we should all call people towards Islam and call them to what we already know. Let's not be complicated about this. We don't need to call them towards complicated fiqh. We're calling them towards tawheed, the oneness of Allah Azza wa Jal. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah.